Hi there, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name's Richard, and as you might be able to see here, I am on downwind to my favorite airport, the Grand Strand Airport in North Myrtle Beach, and I'm going to explain to you how I use a function of X-Plane called save flight and load flight, and the purpose of this is to save a situation where you can repeat it over and over again. And the situation I want to save is right where I am. I'm on downwind. Um, I'm actually not even near I'm almost at the departure end of the runway. We're going to land on runway 05. That's the um, runway 23 that you're sitting there, sitting there. Okay. And so what I want to do is save the situation for this to be loaded later. Okay, so let me come up here, do a file, save flight, and this saves a situation, which it's set here situation. We're not using replay. Okay, and we're going to get rid of all of this. Okay, we come over here and hit a bunch of backspaces. Okay, so this is going to be the KCRE space DA40 space downwind. DW for downwind. Okay, so that's the situation. I'm going to hit the save button. Okay, so now I'm going to do a landing, and after the landing, I'll reload that situation and fly another landing from right here. Now, when you take it off of pause, the airplane jumps a little bit, so just be ready. And I'm going to take it off of pause here. Okay. Let me see, let me turn back this way a little bit. Okay, I'm in a little tight, but I can live with that. I'm a little low, my airspeed's a little high, so I'm going to raise the nose a little bit, get back up to about 1,000 feet, get the airspeed below 90 knots, and look for the runway. Not there yet. Okay. And coming up is the intersection I like to look for. Let me see if I can see it right here. There it is. There's the intersection I'm looking for, and that's where I lower the flaps. So let me make sure my airspeed is below the 90 knots required to lower the flaps. There we go. Flaps are going down, trimming down. That extra altitude I'll lose here in just a second as I pull the power back and trim the nose down. Okay. And we're still trimming the aircraft to being the yoke being hands off. Okay, we're at 1,000 feet, pulling the nose back up. Airspeed is looking good. Checking the flaps, down one click. All right. And actually, we'll just leave that right there. You can see the causeway out here is where I turn final. And I will, just before I get to that causeway, we're at 1,000 feet. We're at 80, 78 knots or something. And before I get to that causeway, I'll lower my second click of flaps and then turn final. Airspeed's dropping a little bit. I'll touch the power up and make sure I'm holding enough back pressure to hold level flight. Okay, that's looking good. All right, you can see the road and the causeway coming up. I'm at 1,000 feet. My airspeed is looking good. My power's looking good. So as I get to the causeway, um, as it's almost, as I almost start to cross it, I'll put my flap down. Okay, lowering the nose, don't want to climb anymore. Airspeed is looking good. All that airspeed is going to drop when I put the second click of flaps in anyways. Here we go. Okay, here's a good time to put a second click of flaps in. Trimming nose down. Okay. More nose down trim. More nose down trim. More nose down trim. Okay. Hands off the stick. We're doing fine. Gonna turn base. Actually, I may just even turn all the way around to the 45. I'll pull the power back and start a descent rate. Anywhere from between 250 and 500 will work. There's 500. We'll pull the nose up a little bit. 350 is the descent rate. And touching the power up, I want to stay closer to 70. There's the end of the little lake I shoot for. And as we get a little closer here, we'll be able to see. I can see the airport over there, but I don't see the end of the runway yet. That's not a problem. We still want to keep descending here. Power back a little bit. Get over to the lake. And continue the descent. Pull the power back a little bit more. Start a gentle, slow turn. Okie dokie, here comes the runway. Yep, I'm going to roll back out a little bit. And my descent rate, I'm 200 feet below the pattern altitude, and that's a good place to be right here coming up to final. Okay, airspeed is looking good. Descent rate is holding. And we'll turn final here in just a second. I can see the PAPI lights. Looks like I got one red PAPI light, which means I'm right on the glide slope I want to be. Turning final. Airspeed just above 70. And we'll pull the power back slightly. Okay, ForeFlight says I'm 1 mile final. That's probably close enough. Okay. Okay, 2 flaps, 2 clicks of flaps are down. And let's correct the alignment a little bit. Okay, airspeed is just below 70. And we'll set our aim point for the end of the runway there. Those black tire marks are a good aim point. Okay, looking good. 2 red PAPI lights means pull the nose up a little bit. Make sure you don't get too slow on airspeed. Airspeed is looking fine. And as it slowly drops, I'll make sure it doesn't get too close to 60 until I have landing assured. 65 looking good. Power back slightly. You can see the inches of mercury say about 11, which is fine. And as I get ready to land, I will not pull it all the way to idle. I'll just let the airplane settle. I'll pull it back a little bit more here as I get close. 65, power's coming back, keeping the nose up. Airspeed's dropping. Power's coming back slowly. And we're down. How's that? Okay, now the nose goes down, and I'll carefully put on the brakes. Okay, and we roll to a stop. All right. Um, so the next thing to do is hit pause. Come up here to File, hit Load Flight, and we'll come over here to KCRE DA40 Downwind, and we'll hit Load Flight. Now it should stay in pause as we come back up to where we were, and you can see, let's see, right there, there's the end of the runway, and we will, looks like everything looks good, and we'll release the pause. It'll jump a little bit, but you'll have control of it. Okay. Okay, so I bump the blue lever, which is fine. I'll get it back up. That's close enough to 2400. And we'll level off at 1,000 feet. I'll probably end a little tight. I'll turn this way a little bit. And here we go. Okay, there's my intersection for putting the flaps down. Okay, got to get the power back a lot. Get it back below 90 knots. I'm just above 1,000 feet. Power back a little bit more. There we go. 1,000 feet. Airspeed's below 90. One click of flaps. Lots of trimming involved right here. Trimming and trimming and trimming. Staying at 1,000 feet. Watching the airspeed. Pushing the power back up a bit more. Trying to hold about 75. That's good enough. 75, 1,000 feet. And let me see if I've got hands off. That is hands off the yoke. All right. And let's look down here, and we have one click of flaps. Okay. As I approach the road here and the causeway, I will lower the flaps as I cross the road and then turn final. Okay, bit low on altitude and airspeed, so throw the throttle in a little bit, pop up a little bit to 1,000 feet, get the airspeed back up above 70. Okay. Pull the power back a little bit, and we're back to where we're supposed to be. Now, as we put this click of flaps in, I want to be well trimmed. I am. I want to be 75. I am. And I'm almost on my altitude, but that's good. All right, so here we go. One more click of flaps down. Start trimming early. Come on, trim more, trim more, trim more, trim more. Goes down a little bit to lose a bit of altitude. Okay. I like to be well trimmed before I start my turn. Now I'm well trimmed. Okay, we'll start our turn. Pulling the power back so I can get a descent rate going. Lowering the nose, descent rate. That's a good descent rate, maybe a little too much. Airspeed still 75 and we're doing well. Now I'm not going to roll out here. I'm just going to turn all the way to the 45 and head for the end of the lake. Okay. I'm actually a little bit high, but that's okay. I'm usually about 850, so I'm 50 feet high. I'm going to head for the end of the lake, the little finger in the lake. And we shall roll out here. And we can see the runway. Okay. Coming down to 800 feet. Airspeed is a little low. Power's in a bit coming in. I want 65 to 70 here. Double check my flaps are down full. Okay, can see the end of the runway, can see the lake. Gonna hold this a little bit longer. Good airspeed. I sort of leveled off there. I didn't really want to do that. We'll start a slow turn and continue my descent. One click down trim. Okay, coming on final, verifying 2 clicks of flaps in. Bit more down trim, a bit less power. I'm a little high. That's okay. I hate to drag in approaches. It is much easier to lose a bit of altitude with 2 clicks of flaps in. And here we go. Good alignment with the runway, still a little high, aiming a little short of the runway. Trimming down, powering back. And there we go, aiming short. Watching for the PAPI light to turn red. PAPI light turned red, pull the nose up a little bit. Throttle is fine because we got to lose a bit of airspeed here. Okay, 65 to 70 at this point. And aim point is now better. Power up slightly. Okay. Not leveling off, but moving my aim point. And alignment correction here. And that's looking good. 66 is fine, coming to short final. Okay. Power back just slightly. And here we go again. 64. Coming down to 63. Okay, landing is assured. I can pull the power back some, but more importantly, I just want to do a slow rotation to a nose high attitude and just let the airplane settle in. Okay, and we're down. The brakes on. Touching the brakes on, there we go. And we're going to turn off. Okay. Turning off toward the end of the runway here. There we go. And a bit more brake. All right, we're clear of the runway. Okay, so now you understand how to save a flight and load a flight, and that should be good practice. When you want to practice just your landing, you don't want to go through everything else, and you can load that flight anytime you want. So thank you for watching. Try the technique, it works well. Stay tuned for more videos about the Diamond DA40 and 20.